Welcome to Histosleep, a place where every gentle sound guides you toward peace, and every moment helps you drift into deep, restful sleep. I'm so glad you've joined me tonight. Dear listener, welcome. Take a slow breath in and let it fall out gently. Wherever you are right now, allow yourself to arrive fully. Feel the surface beneath you, steady and supportive. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. There is nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you need to do. This time is just for you. As you listen, imagine the space around you softening, sounds grow quieter, muscles loosen without effort. Your jaw unclenches, your shoulders sink. Even your thoughts begin to slow, like leaves drifting down through still air. If a breeze passes in your mind, let it be gentle. If you hear rustling leaves or a distant hum, allow those sounds to rock you calmly. Like a lullaby the world has been singing forever. With every breath, feel yourself becoming heavier and more comfortable, safe, warm, at ease. You are allowed to rest here. You are allowed to drift. Nothing will be asked of you except to listen and imagine, and even that can fade whenever sleep comes. And now, when you feel ready, our story begins today. Set sail at the edge of a quiet garden, just as the day is learning how to become night. Deep within this peaceful place, where sunlight moves slowly and shadows stretch lazily across the soil, there stands a single flower. It is not the tallest flower, nor the brightest, but it is soft, and it is content. Its petals are smooth, like silk warmed by the sun. In the morning, those petals open wide to greet the day. In the evening, they slowly, carefully fold inward, as if the flower itself is settling down to sleep. Inside this flower lives a tiny family. They are small enough to rest in the curve of a petal, small enough to hear the quiet language of roots beneath the earth. And as evening approaches, they begin their nightly rituals, each movement unhurried, each task familiar and comforting. One by one, the petals close, and with each gentle fold, the world becomes quieter. The smallest member of the family tiptoes from petal to petal, checking that each one is ready for the night. One petal has been fluffed into a resting space, lined with soft threads of moss and downy pollen. Another petal holds a tiny cup where dew has been gathered, still cool and fresh from the air. The third petal is their listening room, where they sit together and hear the wind travel down the stem, humming low, steady notes that feel like breathing. A warm glow fills the center of the flower. This is the pollen lantern, glowing softly, never bright, never sharp. It gives off a golden light that feels more like comfort than illumination. As the lantern begins to dim, the family knows it is time. Voices lower, movements slow even more. Outside, the bees who visited during the day have long since returned to their hives. The tiny family offers a quiet thank you, a small moment of gratitude that floats into the air like a blessing. The garden responds by becoming still. Leaves stop rustling. Even the earth seems to sigh. If these quiet tales are helping you drift off, a gentle like or a silent subscribe would mean the world. It helps this sleepy corner of the internet reach others who need a little calm too. I always wonder, where in the world are you listening from right now? If you're still awake, leave a whisper of a comment, maybe your city and the time on your clock. It's a beautiful thing, this quiet little global gathering, all connected through stories and stillness. Now, let's set the mood, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and get comfortable. back inside the flower. The petals finish closing, creating a round, protective space. The air inside is warm and smells faintly sweet, like nectar and night air blended together. The tiny family settles close, feeling the flowers sway almost imperceptibly as the stem adjusts to the evening breeze. One of them begins to imagine dreams, not fast dreams or loud ones, but slow dreams. Dreams that travel gently downward, sliding through the stem like a soft ribbon. They pass through the roots, curling into the cool, dark earth below, where countless other dreams rest, waiting for morning. As the family drifts closer to sleep, the pollen lantern fades to a soft ember glow. Breathing becomes slow and synchronized. Outside, the garden holds its breath, keeping watch. And as you listen, dear listener, you may notice your own breathing matching theirs, slow, even easy. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to solve, just this moment, floating gently, like a petal settling onto still water. The flower sways once more, barely at all, and the tiny family sleeps. The night deepens, and the garden becomes a place of soft listening. Above the flower, the sky stretches wide and dark, dotted with stars that blink slowly, unhurried. They do not rush, they never have. They simply exist, steady and patient, casting a faint silver hush over the leaves and soil. The moon rises just enough to notice, just enough to lend a pale glow that brushes the tops of petals and blades of grass. Inside the flower, the tiny family sleeps close together. Their breaths are small, but perfectly timed, like a quiet rhythm the flower itself has learned to follow. With each breath in, the petals seem to relax. With each breath out, the stem eases, releasing any last tension from the day. If your mind wanders now, that is perfectly all right. Let it wander slowly, like a bee drifting without urgency from bloom to bloom. There is no need to follow every word. You can listen, or you can simply rest in the sound of the voice, allowing meaning to blur and soften. The flower makes a tiny sound, almost inaudible, a gentle creak, the way old trees stretch at night. This is the sound of safety, of settling, of everything being where it belongs. One of the tiny family members stirs just slightly, not waking, only adjusting. In their half-dreaming state, they imagine the petal rooms glowing softly, each one holding a memory of the day. The dewdrop tea petal remembers the cool touch of morning air. The listening petal remembers the wind's song, low and steady. The resting petal remembers warmth, shared and gentle. Dreams continue their slow journey downward. They slide along the inside of the stem, moving past tiny fibers that hum with life. Down and down they go, toward the roots. The roots welcome them without sound, absorbing the dreams into the earth like secrets kept safe. The soil is cool and dark, but not empty. It is full of quiet energy, of patience, of deep rest. And here, dear listener, you might imagine your own thoughts doing the same. Any leftover worries, any unfinished plans, let them drift down, away from your mind, settling somewhere far below where they can wait until morning, unchanged and harmless. The garden exhales. A leaf shifts slightly, brushing against another. Somewhere far off, an owl turns its head. These sounds are distant, muffled, wrapped in layers of calm. Nothing sharp, nothing sudden. The flower sways again, barely noticeable, a response to a breeze that passes like a whisper. The breeze carries the scent of damp earth and sleeping plants. It slips through the garden without disturbing anything, respectful, and light. Inside, the pollen lantern has nearly gone dark. Not fully extinguished, just a faint glow, like the memory of a candle after it has been blown out. Enough to reassure, enough to say you are not alone, even in sleep. The tiny family sinks deeper into rest. Their dreams now begin to unfold more fully. One dreams of sunlight spilling slowly across petals. Another dreams of bees buzzing lazily, their wings humming like a gentle engine. Another dreams of rain falling softly, each drop a quiet tap that never startles. These dreams do not rush. They loop gently, repeating comforting images, the way waves repeat their motion on a shore. Over and over, the same calm scenes, until the mind no longer needs to hold on to them consciously. If you notice your own eyelids growing heavier, let them. If they flutter, let them. There is no right way to fall asleep. There is only the natural way, the way your body already knows. Time moves differently now. Minutes stretch and soften. Seconds lose their edges. The night does not count them. The flower, rooted firmly in the earth, feels completely supported. The soil holds it without effort. The stem does not strain. The petals do not resist. Everything trusts what is beneath it. You might imagine that same support beneath you. Now the bed, the chair, the floor, whatever holds you is strong enough. You do not need to help it. You can give your weight over completely. Another gentle breeze passes. This one is cooler, quieter. It brushes the outer petals, then moves on, carrying nothing with it except stillness. The tiny family remains asleep, undisturbed. In the distance, the garden clock, unseen and unheard, ticks on. But inside the flower, there is no clock. There is only the slow rise and fall of breath, the steady hum of life, continuing without attention. The roots below pulse softly, sending nourishment upward, not fast, not forceful, just enough, always enough. And as nourishment rises, calm descends. Your thoughts may now begin to drift in fragments, images without words, sensations without stories. This is the edge of sleep, and it is a gentle place. Stay here as long as you like. The flower does not mind the dark. It was made for nights like this, for folding inward, for holding what is small and precious, trusting that morning will come when it is ready. And somewhere deep in the earth, dreams rest quietly, waiting for the light. The night does not simply pause around the flower, it lives. Inside the folded petals, the tiny family's home is not just a place to sleep, but a place to live, much like your own. The flower is their house, their shelter, their whole small world. And just as homes do, it carries the quiet signs of a life gently lived. Along the inner curve of one petal, a narrow path is worn smooth from many tiny footsteps. This is their hallway. It curves naturally, following the shape of the flower, and feels familiar beneath their feet. Another petal holds their shared space, where they gather during the day to talk softly, sip tea, and listen to stories carried upward through the stem. One petal serves as a kitchen of sorts. Here, droplets of nectar are carefully stored in hollow grains of pollen, lined up neatly like jars on a shelf. Nothing is rushed here. Meals are simple, sweet, and slow. Eating is less about hunger and more about togetherness. As the family sleeps now, the flower continues its own quiet routines. The stem gently adjusts, redistributing its strength. The petals tighten just enough to keep the warmth in, like closing windows before bed. Outside, sounds fade, further, cushioned by layers of leaves and distance. a dream shifts. One family member dreams they are waking at dawn. In the dream, the petals slowly open, and sunlight pours in, soft and golden, warming the floor of the flower home. They imagine sweeping pollen dust from the petal rooms, opening the dew jars, and greeting the bees as neighbors, not visitors. Another dream of rain. In this dream, drops land on the outside of the flower, one by one, each one a gentle knock. Inside, the sound becomes a rhythm, steady and calming, like fingers tapping quietly on a roof. The family stays dry and safe, listening, wrapped in the comfort of knowing their home is strong. The flower sways slightly in the real night, responding to a breeze that moves through the garden like a slow breath. Leaves murmur, stems lean and return. Nothing resists. Dear listener, if you are still awake, notice how your own body responds to stillness. Perhaps your breathing has deepened. Perhaps your thoughts have begun to blur at the edges. This is your natural rhythm reasserting itself, the same rhythm that guides the flower, the roots, the tiny family within. Inside the flower, the pollen lantern flickers once, then settles again. Its glow reflects off the curved petal walls, creating a soft, amber light that feels like late evening, even though it is deep night. It is the kind of light that never asks you to stay awake. The tiniest family member turns slightly, nestling closer. They feel the warmth of the others, the shared heat that comes from living close, from knowing you are not alone. Their home is small, but it is enough, more than enough. Outside, the bees sleep in their hive, wings folded, bodies still. They dream their own slow dreams, perhaps of fields and sun. The tiny family does not see them now, but they feel their presence. The way you feel neighbors through walls, a quiet reassurance that life continues nearby. The roots beneath the flower stretch deeper into the soil, gently exploring, gently anchoring. They do not hurry. They trust the earth to receive them. The earth, in turn, holds everything without judgment. You might imagine your own thoughts rooting downward now, sinking, settling, becoming quiet nourishment rather than noise. Time continues to soften. The flower home breathes in sync with the night. The family sleeps on, their lives simple, their needs met, their world complete within the curve of petals. Morning will come later. The petals will open. The house will become a home once more, full of light and gentle activity. But for now, there is only rest, only the steady comfort of being held, only the deep shared sleep of a tiny family living peacefully inside a flower, just as you live inside this moment. The night moves forward quietly, like a careful guest who does not wish to wake anyone. Inside the flower, the tiny family remains asleep, but their home is still gently alive, much like yours when the lights are off and everyone is resting. The walls listen, the air shifts. The flower remembers every small life it shelters. One petal creaks softly as it relaxes further, the way a wooden floor might sigh beneath a familiar house. This sound does not disturb the family, it comforts them. It tells them their home is settling in for the long night, just as they are. Far inside a dream, one of the family members imagines their daily routines. In this dream, they wake slowly, never with alarm or rush. They stretch along the curve of a petal, feeling the warmth left behind by sleep. Another prepares dew tea, carefully lifting each droplet as if it were something precious, because it is. Another opens the listening petal, inviting the wind to share whatever story it brings that morning. Their lives are small, but full. They do not need much. Their happiness lives in repetition, in knowing what comes next, in trusting the rhythm of the flower and the garden beyond. Outside, the garden continues its own quiet life. Soil shifts as something underground moves, unseen. A snail glides along a stone, unbothered by time. Somewhere, water drips slowly from leaf to leaf, counting nothing. Inside the flower, dreams deepen. The family begins to dream together now, their sleep sinking the way hearts do when people live close. They dream of the flower growing taller, stronger, lifting them gently higher toward the sky. They dream of the stem thickening, of roots spreading wide, of the garden expanding into something endless and safe. Dear listener, you may find that your own dreams are beginning to approach. They might feel vague, unfinished, or oddly peaceful. You do not need to hold on to them. Let them come and go as they wish. The pollen lantern finally fades to almost nothing, leaving only the soft glow of moonlight filtering faintly through the petals. Even this light feels sleepy, stretched thin by the hour. Breathing becomes the main sound now. The flower breathes, the garden breathes, you breathe. Each breath arrives gently and leaves without effort. The tiniest family member shifts again, this time smiling in their sleep. They are dreaming of safety, of warmth, of belonging. They do not know the words for these things, only the feeling, and the feeling is enough. The flower holds them carefully, the way a home holds memories, laughter, rest. It does not squeeze, it does not loosen, it simply supports. If there are still thoughts moving through your mind, imagine them becoming softer, rounder, quieter. Imagine them settling into corners, resting like furniture in a darkened room. Nothing needs your attention right now. Nothing needs fixing. Morning is far away, and it knows how to find you on its own. The garden sinks deeper into silence. Even the stars seem to blink more slowly now. The tiny family sleeps on, their flower home steady and calm, floating gently between earth and sky. And you, dear listener, are welcome to float with them. As the night slowly loosens its grip, something gentle begins to stir. Not quite morning, not quite dream. Inside the flower, the tiny family's children begin to drift into lighter sleep, the kind where imagination stretches and wanders freely. In this in-between space, their dreams become places they know well, places they love. And in these dreams, the garden transforms into their playground. They dream of waking just after dawn, when the petals open wide and sunlight spills in like laughter. The flower becomes their front door, and just beyond it lies a playground made entirely of living things. In their dream world, the stem of the flower curves into a smooth slide. The children sit at the top, toes curled, waiting their turn. When they slide down, it is slow and gliding, never fast, the surface warm and safe beneath them. At the bottom, soft moss cushions their landing, springy and forgiving. Nearby, long blades of grass sway gently, tied together with spider silk to form swings. The children rock back and forth, moving with the breeze rather than against it. Each swing creaks quietly, a sound as comforting as an old playground in the evening when the day's noise has faded. Laughter exists here, but it is soft. It does not echo. It floats and settles quickly, never disturbing the peace of the garden. One child climbs carefully along a vine ladder, its tendrils wrapped securely around a nearby stem. From the top, they can see the whole playground. Flowers like houses, leaves like roofs, pebbles arranged into stepping stones. Everything is familiar, Everything belongs. The parents watch from the edge of the petals, just as parents do everywhere. They sit close together, sipping dew tea, eyes half closed, not from tiredness, but from contentment. They know the playground is safe. They know the garden is kind. In the dream, a bee passes by slowly, not buzzing loudly, just humming a low note. The children wave. The bee dips politely, like a neighbor greeting them on a quiet street, then continues on its way. Dear listener, if your mind is still awake enough to notice, you might feel a lightness now, a softness. This is the feeling of remembering play without urgency, joy without noise. Let it wash through you gently. The playground dream continues. The children run along a curved leaf bridge that arches over a small puddle left behind by last night's watering. The water reflects the sky, and they pause to look at their tiny reflections. Faces calm, eyes bright, nothing pulls them away. Time stretches wide and friendly. Eventually, the dream begins to slow. The playground grows quieter. The swings move less. The slide becomes still. One by one, the children grow sleepy again, curling up in the shade of a petal, their play complete for now. The dream gently dissolves, like mist lifting from the garden. Back in the real night, inside the flower, the children sleep peacefully. Their small hands rest open. Their breathing is deep and even. The parents rest nearby, knowing that when morning comes, play will return. It always does. The flower remains steady, holding every dream, every memory, every small life inside it. And you, dear listener, may feel yourself drifting further now, carried by the same calm that rocks the garden. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is loud. Everything is exactly as it should be. As the dream of the playground fades, it does not disappear all at once. It lingers softly, like the warmth left behind after sunlight moves across a room. Inside the flower, the tiny family remains asleep, but the memory of play settles gently into the walls of their home, becoming part of it, the way laughter settles into houses where children grow. Time passes in the quiet way it does at night, unmeasured and kind. Slowly, very slowly, the garden begins to lean toward morning, not with brightness or sound, but with a subtle shift. The air cools, then steadies. The soil releases a deep, calm scent. Somewhere far away, a bird turns in its sleep. Inside the flower, the petals sense the change before anyone else does. They loosen just a little, not opening yet, just preparing. The flower knows its role. It has done this every day for as long as it can remember. It holds, it shelters, it opens, it closes, reliable, gentle. One of the tiny parents stirs first. They do not wake suddenly. They drift upward through layers of sleep, feeling the familiar curve of the petal beneath them, the quiet presence of their family nearby. Their eyes open just enough to see the faintest hint of pale light filtering through the folded petals. Morning is on its way, unhurried. They smile, then close their eyes again, resting in that peaceful in-between moment where night and day overlap. The children sleep on, wrapped in moss-soft blankets, their dreams still brushing the edges of playgrounds and slides made of stems and leaves. One child's fingers twitch slightly, as if still holding onto a swing rope made of spider silk. Outside, dew gathers. Tiny droplets form along the edges of leaves, along blades of grass, along the outer surface of the flower itself. Each drop catches what little light there is, holding it carefully, like small glass beads waiting to be collected. Inside the flower, the pollen lantern brightens just a touch on its own, responding to the coming day. It never turns off completely. It simply shifts, adapting, just as the family does. When the first child finally wakes, it is with a slow stretch and a deep, satisfied breath. They do not sit up right away. They lie still, listening. The flower hums faintly, a low vibration that feels like safety. The garden is waking, but quietly, politely. The child nudges their sibling gently. Soon, small movements ripple through the flower home. Blankets are folded. Dew cups are checked. Tiny footsteps pad softly along the petal hallway. Morning routines begin, familiar and comforting. The parents rise last, watching their children move about with calm efficiency. They exchange a look that says, "Everything is well. Another day has arrived. Another gentle cycle begins." As the petals slowly open, light spills in, not harsh or blinding, but warm and golden. It spreads across the petal rooms, illuminating the textures of the flower's interior. Veins glow softly. Pollen dust sparkles faintly in the air. The door to their home is open now. Beyond it, the garden stretches out, vast and full of possibility. The children are eager, but never rushed. They step outside onto the broad base of the flower, their familiar front step. From here, they can see their playground waiting for them, just as it always does. The slide stem glistens with dew, smooth and inviting. The mossy ground below looks extra soft this morning, freshly cooled by night air. The swings sway gently, moved by a breeze that seems to know exactly how fast to go. Before play begins, there is breakfast. The family gathers in the shared petal room, now open to the morning light. Dew tea is poured, nectar is shared. Everything tastes fresh, like the garden itself. They sit close, talking softly about dreams, about the day ahead, about nothing in particular. Then, at last, playtime. The children run ahead, feet light, laughter hushed but joyful. They climb, they swing, they slide. They invent games that only make sense to them, rules changing slowly, kindly. There is no competition here, only movement and curiosity. One child pretends the leaf bridge is a river crossing. Another pretends the pebbles are stepping stones through the sky. The playground becomes a place of imagination layered gently over reality. The parents watch, sometimes joining, sometimes resting nearby. They sit on a broadleaf bench, sipping tea, feeling the warmth of the sun grow just a little stronger. They talk about tending the flower later, about checking the roots, about welcoming the bees when they arrive. Life is full, but not busy. Dear listener, if you are still with me, you may notice that this story does not pull you forward. It does not hurry you along. It allows moments to stretch, to repeat, to settle, just like a good morning, just like a safe home. As the garden continues to wake, the bees begin to arrive, one by one. They hum softly, respectful of the quiet. They greet the family as neighbors, not guests. The children pause to wave before returning to play. Above everything, the flower stands steady, open and glowing, its work complete for now. And somewhere in this calm rhythm, you may feel yourself drifting again, carried by the gentle flow of a world where even play is peaceful, where homes bloom, and where rest is always waiting just beneath the surface. The day continues in the garden, but even daylight here carries the softness of a dream. After the children finish their morning play, they gather again near the flower, cheeks warm, movements slower now. Play has not tired them in a sharp way. It has gently rounded their energy, smoothing it into something calm and happy. They sit together on a wide leaf, legs dangling over the edge, watching a line of ants move carefully along a path below. The ants are busy, but not frantic. Everyone in the garden works at their own pace. One child counts the ants quietly. Another traces patterns on the leaf with a fingertip, following the veins like roads on a map. The parents sit nearby, close enough to listen, far enough to give space. This is how it always is, together but free. As the sun climbs a little higher, the playground changes. The dew on the slide stem slowly disappears, and the surface becomes warm instead of cool. The swings move less as the breeze settles. The garden shifts from morning play into late morning rest. The parents gently call the children back, not with urgency, just with a soft voice that carries familiarity. The children come easily, they always do. There is no sense of something ending, only something changing. Back inside the flower, the petals remain open, letting light and air flow through. This is the daytime version of their home. Curtains of fine petal fibers are drawn aside. The listening room fills with birdsong drifting down the stem, carried on the wind. The kitchen petal glows with reflected sunlight. Midday is for quiet activities. One child curls up with a smooth seed pod, turning it over and over in their hands, imagining stories inside it. Another helps a parent gently brush pollen dust into small containers, a task done slowly and carefully. The youngest lies back against a warm petal wall, watching light patterns shift above them as the sun moves. Outside, the bees come and go. Their wings hum softly, never too loud, like distant engines heard through walls. The flower welcomes them, offering nectar freely. The family watches, appreciative, respectful of the balance that keeps everything thriving. Dear listener, this is a good moment to notice your own body again. You may feel very still now, heavy in a pleasant way, or perhaps light, floating somewhere between attention and sleep. Both are perfect places to be. The story does not need you to stay alert. It only asks that you remain comfortable. As the afternoon approaches, warmth builds gently. Shadows shorten. The garden becomes drowsy in its own way. This is the time when even the most energetic places learn how to rest. The children begin to yawn. Not all at once. One first, then another. A yawn spreads through the group like a signal, quiet and unspoken. The parents notice and smile. Afternoon rest is a tradition, as steady as the opening and closing of petals. Inside the flower, the resting petal is prepared again. Moss blankets are shaken lightly and laid out. The pollen lantern dims slightly, even though it is still day, creating a softer atmosphere. The flower knows how to change its mood. The children settle down, some quickly, some slowly. One child resists just a little, turning from side to side, still full of images from the playground. A parent gently rests a hand on their back, not pressing, just present. The child relaxes almost immediately. Outside, the garden quiets. Even the bees slow their visits, resting in shaded places. Leaves hold still. The air grows thick and warm, like a held breath. Sleep comes easily now. During this afternoon rest, dreams are different from nighttime dreams. They are lighter, brighter, filled with color and movement. The children dream of running through fields of flowers that look like their home, of climbing tall stems that sway but never fall, of playing games that have no winners, only laughter. The parents rest too, leaning back against the curve of the flower, eyes closed but aware. They listen to the steady breathing of their children, to the gentle sounds of the garden, to the faint pulse of life traveling up from the roots. Time passes unnoticed. Eventually, the sun begins its slow descent. Shadows lengthen. The heat softens. One by one, the children wake, refreshed, calm, ready for the evening. This is the rhythm of their life. Wake, play, rest, gather, sleep. Simple but full. As evening approaches, the playground outside changes again. It becomes quieter, more reflective. The slide is now cool again. The swings barely move. The garden feels like it is preparing for something familiar. The family steps outside together, one last time before night. They walk slowly along the edge of the flower, looking out at the garden as a whole. It feels vast and intimate at the same time. The children point out small discoveries. A new bud forming nearby, a stone warmed by the sun, a spider web catching the light like silver thread. The parents listen, nodding, sharing the wonder. When the sky begins to deepen in color, shifting from pale blue to soft amber, they return inside. The petals begin to close, not suddenly, but with intention. One by one, the rooms of the flower become enclosed again, wrapping the family in their nighttime home. Dinner is quiet and warm. Dew tea tastes richer in the evening. Nectar feels comforting rather than refreshing. Conversations slow, becoming softer, shorter. The pollen lantern brightens just enough to cast a golden glow. Outside, the garden slips back into stillness. The tiny family gathers close once more, settling into familiar places. The children curl up, already heavy with sleep. The parents exchange a final glance, a silent check that everything is as it should be. And once again, dreams begin their gentle journey downward, through stem and root, into the deep, patient earth. Dear listener, if sleep has already taken you, this story will continue without you. And if you are still hovering at the edge, let yourself fall. The flower will hold the family. The garden will hold the flower. And the night will hold you. As the evening deepens, the tiny family sleeps peacefully, unaware of the full scale of the world beyond their flower home. To them, the flower is everything a universe complete in itself. With petal rooms, moss blankets, dew tea swings, and slides. They know the shape of their home, the rhythm of its day, the comfort of its petals. But beyond, there is a vastness they cannot yet see, a world enormous and endless compared to the curves of their tiny universe. Inside the flower, dreams stretch the edges of imagination. One child imagines a river made of light that flows through the garden. Another imagines mountains taller than the tallest petals they have ever climbed. The parents dream too, though their dreams are quieter, steadier, like the low pulse of roots beneath the soil. None of them knows that the garden itself is only a small part of an even larger world that stretches endlessly outward fields, forests, rivers, and skies that go beyond what the eye could see. The flower holds its family as though nothing else exists. To the tiny family, the world begins and ends with the curve of petals and the reach of the stem. Every leaf is a forest, every pebble a mountain, every dewdrop a lake. They live in complete safety, surrounded by a home that seems infinite in its scope. One night, while the family sleeps, a quiet wind flows through the garden. It carries scents and sounds from far beyond the familiar petals. The faint hum of other flowers swaying, the soft chatter of birds unknown to them, the scent of soil that is not part of their flower. The wind brushes the petals, gentle but insistent, as if whispering secrets of a world far bigger than their home. The children turn in their sleep, feeling the brush of air on their faces, their dreams shifting toward this whisper without fully understanding it. In the dream, one child imagines stepping onto a leaf that moves beneath their feet like a bridge, not knowing that beyond the leaf stretches an entire meadow they have never seen. Another dreams of climbing a vine that seems to rise endlessly, and as they reach higher, the world below looks smaller, though they do not yet recognize its vastness. The parents' dreams echo this quietly. They sense something larger without knowing exactly what it is. A gentle stirring of curiosity, a feeling of space expanding far beyond the petals. Outside, the garden seems to pause, as if holding its breath for the family. Shadows stretch and yawn, leaves rustle softly in the invisible wind, and a distant stream glimmers faintly, carrying life far beyond what the tiny family can perceive. The flower sways lightly, unconsciously attuned to the vastness outside, its own small stem unable to grasp the enormity surrounding it. Morning comes slowly. Light filters through the petals, warming the family as usual. They wake, stretch, and prepare for the day in their familiar ways, unaware of the expansiveness beyond their home. They eat, do tea, check the pollen jars, and step onto the leaf bridge that serves as their playground, laughing quietly as they imagine new games. They do not yet know that the entire garden, the meadow, and the fields beyond are massive compared to their little world, and that countless other flowers, creatures, and unseen places exist beyond what they can see. The playground stretches under the petals, yet it begins to feel like a tiny stage in a grand theater. The children climb slides made of stems, swing gently on blades of grass, and imagine traveling to lands that seem far away, not realizing that such lands truly exist beyond their home. Their world is complete in its detail, vivid and safe, yet it is only a fraction of what surrounds them. Even the pollen lantern, which glows warmly at night, seems small in comparison to the sun above and the sky stretching endlessly beyond the flower. And yet, for the tiny family, the lantern is infinite. It is their sun, their moon, their guiding light. As the day passes, the children notice new things. A ladybug crosses their playground. A snail leaves a shining trail along a stone. They marvel at these creatures, unaware that countless others are wandering through the wider world, unseen and unknown. The parents smile quietly, noticing the children's curiosity, but never guessing that the world is so much larger than the space of their home. At the end of the day, the petals begin to fold, enclosing the family once again in their safe, familiar world. Darkness falls. The pollen lantern glows softly. The children curl up together, resting in their moss blankets. Dreams come again, carrying whispers of winds and sights beyond the flower. The family imagines new places and adventures, still believing that the flower is the entirety of existence, not yet aware that it is part of something vast and infinite. The roots beneath the flower pulse gently, carrying nourishment and information. They extend far beyond the petals, touching the soil in ways the tiny family cannot see or understand. Through the roots, the flower feels the vastness of the earth, the presence of other flowers and creatures. It does not reveal these truths to the family, but the information flows subtly, like a secret hum beneath the surface. Even in sleep, the tiny family is connected to the larger world without knowing it. Each breath, each heartbeat, each dream is part of a rhythm that stretches far beyond the petals, beyond the garden, and into the expanse of the earth, sky and sun above. Dear listener, imagine yourself watching this tiny family, safe in their flower, unaware of the vast world around them. You can feel the enormity, the infinite spaces beyond, and still recognize the intimacy of their home. Both can exist at once, the immense and the minute, the known and the unknown. And as night falls again, the flower folds its petals, holding the family close. Outside, the garden is alive with winds and creatures, a world too large to be fully understood, yet always supporting the flower, always nurturing the tiny family within. Even as they sleep, even as their dreams stretch toward playgrounds and rivers of light, the family remains unaware of how small they are in comparison to the larger world, but that does not matter. Their universe is complete for them, rich and full of wonder, safe and alive. As night deepens again, the tiny family sleeps, completely absorbed in their small universe. To them, the flower is everything: walls, rooms, playgrounds, and light. They do not yet know that beyond the curve of their petals lies an enormous world, fields that stretch beyond sight, forests that rise taller than any stem, rivers wider than the flower itself. To them, the flower is infinite and yet unseen. Life continues in a vast landscape that could hold countless other flowers, creatures, and adventures. In their dreams, the children sometimes sense something bigger, though they do not understand it. One imagines sliding down a stem that seems to go on forever, floating above lands too wide to name. Another dreams of climbing a leaf ladder that arcs endlessly, the horizon stretching far beyond what they can perceive. These images feel exciting, even a little mysterious, yet comforting, because the flower always waits for them at the end. The parents' dreams are gentler. They feel the tug of life outside the flower's subtle shifts in air and soil, whispers of a world they cannot see. Yet even in these dreams, they remain calm, trusting the safety of their home. They sense possibility beyond the petals without naming it, a quiet curiosity that blends with the rhythms of their life. Outside, the larger world hums quietly. Winds ripple through unseen fields, carrying scents and whispers far beyond the flower. Birds move along distant branches, their calls soft and distant. Streams flow over rocks with a gentle murmur, feeding lands the family has never seen. Every movement, every sound, every vibration travels outward and inward, touching the flower, even if the tiny family never notices. The flower itself is alive with subtle awareness. Its petals fold and unfold with the sun. Its roots reach into soil teeming with unseen life, and its stem sways with the breeze. Though the family does not realize it, the flower is part of a grand network, a tiny node in a massive world. It shields the family from the enormity beyond, offering intimacy and security, while remaining connected to the vast life around it. In the mornings, the family wakes and continues their routines. The children play on slides made of stems, swing on blades of grass, and explore their playgrounds. They discover insects, marvel at sparkling dew, and pretend the surrounding leaves and stones are cities, forests, or mountains. To them, this is adventure. To the world beyond, it is a fraction of life unfolding within an infinite tapestry. As the day unfolds, the tiny family remains unaware of how large the world truly is. A ladybug drifts past, seemingly enormous to the children, yet tiny to the vast expanse beyond the flower. A hummingbird wings by overhead, barely noticed, but in the broader world, it is part of a network of creatures traveling far and wide. Every encounter within their universe is meaningful, yet it is only a glimpse of the endless complexity surrounding them. Evening arrives again. The petals fold slowly, wrapping the family in soft security. Shadows stretch across the interior. The pollen lantern glows gently, and the children curl beneath moss blankets. Dreams carry them toward imagined landscapes, far beyond the petals, where rivers wind endlessly, mountains rise higher than they can comprehend, and skies expand without end. Yet each dream bends back toward the flower, returning them to warmth and safety. The roots below pulse with life, transmitting energy and information throughout the soil. Unseen flowers, distant roots, and the subtle movement of the earth all connect to this tiny home, though the family remains blissfully unaware. Their universe feels complete, yet it is part of something much larger. Every breath, every heartbeat, every dream links them to the vastness beyond. The children, in dreams, sometimes feel the pull of that larger world. A leaf might seem to float endlessly, or a breeze might whisper of places they cannot yet imagine. These sensations are exciting but comforting, for the flower always waits at the end, grounding them, holding them, reminding them that their small world is a sanctuary. Dear listener, as you hear this story, you can imagine both perspectives at once: the tiny, complete universe of the family within the flower, and the enormous, boundless world beyond. Both exist simultaneously, quietly intertwined, full of life, full of wonder. And just as the family rests safely inside the petals, so can you rest in the comfort of knowing that even in a world larger than your mind can measure, there are safe places to pause, breathe, and dream. The night settles fully now. Petals fold completely. The pollen lantern glows one last faint time before dimming to almost nothing. The children sleep soundly, dreaming of endless playgrounds and rivers of light, while the parents drift alongside them, calm, secure, content. And beyond the flower, the world hums quietly. Trees, streams, skies, creatures, and countless other flowers, all existing, vast and connected, while this tiny family sleeps, unaware yet perfectly safe, perfectly alive in their own small universe. As night deepens once more, the tiny family sleeps soundly inside the flower, each in their familiar petal room. The youngest curls up on the softest moss, a faint smile brushing their lips in a dream of slides and swings. The middle child rests beside a dew-filled cup, imagining rivers of light stretching endlessly beyond the flower. The oldest child sleeps near the petal window, imagining adventures over hills taller than the petals themselves. The parents are close, one brushing pollen dust from a blanket, the other leaning against a petal wall, listening to the faint hum of the garden beyond. They do not realize that their home, though infinite in their eyes, is tiny in comparison to the vast world that stretches far beyond. Their universe ends at the edges of petals, unaware of the expansive forests, rivers, and meadows that wait just outside their perception. And yet, even in their small universe, there is movement, growth, and life. The flower pulses gently, holding the family close, swaying slightly as if breathing along with them. Each petal shifts subtly, responding to the rhythm of the night. The root system, hidden beneath the soil, reaches far and wide, connecting the flower to others of its kind, forming a network the family cannot sense. The flower is both home and guardian, bridging intimacy and connection to the immense world outside. In dreams, the children wander into imagined lands that feel real, yet unknowable. One dreams of a pond that mirrors the sky, where fish swim beneath clouds instead of water. Another dreams of a bridge made entirely of leaves, arching over a valley filled with glowing insects and towering stems. The oldest dreams of climbing a stem that disappears into a golden horizon, feeling both the thrill of discovery and the comfort of knowing the flower is always nearby. The parents' dreams are quieter, filled with the soft rhythms of life. They dream of checking the pollen jars, of brewing dew tea, of listening to the distant hum of bees. And somewhere beneath these dreams, a faint awareness stirs that the flower is part of something bigger, though they cannot name it. The world outside exists as a feeling rather than a concept, gentle pulse beneath the familiar safety of petals. Outside the flower, the larger world moves in its own rhythm. A breeze lifts across the garden, carrying the scent of wildflowers the family has never seen. Leaves rustle softly as insects travel paths unseen. A bird calls in the distance, its song reaching the flower only faintly, yet touching the children's dreams in ways they cannot understand. Streams trickle far beyond the garden, carrying water that nourishes countless plants, animals, and flowers. The scale is vast, endless, and full of life, yet the family remains blissfully unaware, content within the intimacy of petals. The pollen lantern inside the flower glows softly, illuminating the petal rooms with a gentle amber light. The children stir slightly, one reaching for a dew cup in their dream, imagining it as a lake filled with tiny boats. The parents watch quietly, content to see their children lost in imagination, unaware of the immensity that exists beyond the flower's walls. As dawn approaches in the larger world, a faint light filters through the petal walls. To the family, it is simply another morning in the flower. They stretch, yawn, and begin their familiar routines, preparing dew tea, checking the moss blankets, stepping onto the leaf bridge that serves as a playground. They move slowly, joyfully, unaware of the sun climbing high above, the world stretching endlessly beyond their home. Even as they play, the flower subtly shifts to accommodate them. A petal curves just enough to form a gentle slide. A soft breeze drifts through the listening room, carrying the faintest sounds of distant trees swaying. The children run along leaf bridges, swing on grass blades, and laugh softly, imagining adventures far beyond the petals without knowing the full scale of the vast world outside. The parents watch, calm and happy. They are present, fully attentive, yet unaware of the enormity surrounding them. They do not know that forests tower beyond the garden, rivers move swiftly across valleys, or mountains rise far beyond what the eye can see. They only know the world they live in: the flowers, the garden, the playgrounds, and the soft, warm safety of home. As the day passes, the children notice small wonders. A ladybug drifts along the leaf bridge. A snail glides along a stone. Tiny drops of dew sparkle in the sunlight like stars. They marvel at these things, unaware that they are part of a much larger ecosystem, a grand network of life stretching endlessly beyond their perception. Evening arrives again. The petals begin to fold slowly, wrapping the family in familiar warmth. The pollen lantern glows softly. The children curl beneath moss blankets, yawning, stretching, and settling into sleep. The parents rest close by, watching quietly until their own eyes close, drifting deep into calm. In dreams, the children explore more of the unseen world. One imagines soaring across vast fields, landing softly atop tall grass stems. Another dreams of sliding down waterfalls made of light, while the oldest dreams of floating above valleys that stretch endlessly, guided by invisible hands. The flower holds all of them gently, grounding each dream and carrying the warmth of home. The roots beneath the flower pulse quietly, sending energy and information far and wide. Unseen flowers, distant stems, and neighboring gardens are touched, though the family remains unaware. Their world feels complete, safe, infinite, but in reality, it is part of a much larger, living network, vibrating with life beyond comprehension. Dear listener, as you listen now, you may imagine both the intimacy of the tiny family's flower home and the vast, unseen world surrounding them. Both exist together, the small, familiar, safe universe, and the boundless, unseen world full of possibilities. And just as the flower holds the family, so can you hold yourself in a calm, secure, quiet space, knowing the world is vast, yet you are safe. The night deepens fully, petals fold completely, the pollen lantern dims to a faint glow, the children sleep, dreaming of vast rivers, endless playgrounds, and skies that stretch beyond imagination. The parents sleep calm and serene, while outside, the garden and the wider world hum quietly, vast and alive, endlessly connected, even to a family too tiny to know how expansive their surroundings truly are. As the night deepens, the tiny family sleeps peacefully inside their flower, completely safe, completely content. There are no worries, here no rush, no noise, no burdens of a larger world. Their life is a gentle rhythm, a simple pattern of play, rest, and togetherness. Each day begins with light spilling softly through petals, continues with laughter and quiet discovery, and ends with the comforting fold of petals and the glow of the pollen lantern. The children wake slowly in the morning, stretching and yawning, their movements unhurried. To them, the flower is endless, a universe of soft curves, tiny rooms, and familiar corners. One child curls against a moss blanket, imagining new adventures across the leaf bridges. Another reaches for a dew cup, pretending it is a sparkling pond full of tiny fish. The oldest child peers out of the listening petal, hearing the faint hum of the garden, imagining journeys across hills taller than the petals, even though they do not know those hills truly exist. The parents move quietly, preparing dew tea, arranging blankets, checking the pollen lantern. They smile gently at each other, feeling the calm flow of life inside the flower. There is nothing to worry about. The family is together, healthy and safe. Every small sound, the soft shift of a petal, the hum of a bee, the rustle of leaves outside feels like music in the background, comforting, steady, reassuring. In this peaceful existence, the children play freely. The slide made of a bent stem curves perfectly for gentle gliding. The swings of grass blades sway with the softest breeze. Every step, every movement, every laugh is a celebration of life without hurry or fear. They imagine adventures across their playground, pretending each pebble is a stepping stone across a river or a tiny hill to climb. No danger exists here, and they do not know of any. Their happiness is quiet, warm, and full, like sunlight spilling gently across petals. Even when the bees come to visit, they are friends and neighbors. The children wave as the bees hum by, their wings shimmering in sunlight. The parents smile, knowing the bees bring life to the garden, but also respect the gentle calm of their home. Every visit, every small interaction is harmonious. There is balance, safety, and joy in every tiny movement of the garden. Afternoon arrives slowly, as it always does. The warmth of the sun fills the petal rooms, soft and steady. The children, sometimes sleepy, sometimes curious, sit on leaf benches and imagine faraway lands. One child holds a small seed pod, turning it over and over in their hands, imagining it as a boat sailing across glowing rivers. Another quietly counts dewdrops, marveling at their sparkle, feeling content without knowing why. The parents rest nearby, sipping dew tea, watching, feeling the steady rhythm of life. Even as the day passes, there is no worry. The tiny family has never known fear or scarcity. The flower always protects them. The petals fold to shield them from wind. The moss blankets keep them warm, and the pollen lantern glows softly to light their nights. They live fully in each moment, unburdened by the concept of tomorrow, completely immersed in now. Evening arrives, and the petals begin to fold. The pollen lantern glows warmly, filling the flower with golden light. The children curl beneath moss blankets, resting after gentle adventures. Their tiny hearts are full of joy and calm. They dream of slides that curve endlessly, swings that move with a breeze that carries laughter, and leaf bridges that arc over sparkling rivers. The parents rest nearby, serene, content, and completely present. The flower, sensing the completion of the day, holds them tenderly. Its petals fold like arms around them, its stem and roots steady and strong. Outside, the garden rests. The bees retreat to hives, the winds quiet, the leaves still. The vast world beyond their petals hums softly, but it does not touch the family's peace. In dreams, the children imagine more adventures, but none are dangerous. Every imagined step leads to safety. Every climb reaches soft moss. Every river flows calmly. Their joy is infinite in its simplicity. The parents, dreaming alongside them, feel the full measure of happiness that comes from safety, togetherness, and belonging. Dear listener, imagine this calm. Imagine a life where there are no worries, only gentle routines, soft laughter, playful moments, and the comforting presence of those you love. This tiny family does not know fear, does not know scarcity, and does not know worry. They live in a world where every need is met, every moment is safe, and every day ends with the soft folding of petals. Night deepens fully. The pollen lantern dims to a quiet glow. The children sleep in gentle piles of moss blankets. The parents sleep close, serene. The flower, their home and guardian, holds them with quiet strength. And outside, the larger world continues, vast and infinite, but the family remains safe and happy, unaware of the immensity beyond living a life full of love, calm, and quiet joy. As the night drifts deeper, the tiny family continues their gentle rhythm of sleep, completely at peace. Their world is contained within the soft, curved petals of their flower. Yet, within that small universe, everything feels vast. Every petal room, every moss blanket, every dewdrop carries meaning, warmth, and joy. Here, there is nothing to worry about. Every sound, the hum of a bee, the whisper of wind through distant leaves, the faint trickle of water from unseen streams, is part of a gentle music that lulls them deeper into calm. Morning arrives slowly, spilling soft, golden light into the petal rooms. The children stir, stretching their tiny limbs and blinking sleep from their eyes. To them, the flower is the whole world. The youngest curls against a moss blanket, imagining tiny boats sailing across sparkling dew pools. The middle child steps onto the leaf bridge, pretending it arcs over an endless river of sunlight. The oldest peeks out of the listening petal, seeing the garden beyond as mountains, forests, and rivers, yet all still part of the comforting universe of their home. The parents move quietly, preparing dew tea, arranging moss blankets, and checking the glowing pollen lantern. They share a soft smile, content in the simple rhythm of life. There is no hurry, no need to rush, no fear or worry of what might come. Each day is lived fully, completely, with attention only to the present. The children return to their playful adventures. The slide formed from a bent stem curves perfectly, offering gentle gliding. The swings of grass blades sway with a breeze that feels like laughter itself. Each step and movement is infused with joy, imagination, and freedom. Every rock, every leaf, every sparkling droplet of dew becomes part of a grand story they invent as they go. The tiny family does not need anything more. Their world is complete. Even the bees that visit bring delight. They buzz softly, never threatening, weaving through the flower and garden as if dancing. The children wave and giggle, welcoming their neighbors. The parents watch with quiet satisfaction, seeing that each encounter in the garden is harmonious. This is a world where life moves gently, without fear, without threat, and full of soft beauty. Afternoon stretches lazily across the garden. The children sometimes pause to observe tiny wonders: a ladybug moving along a leaf, a snail leaving a glimmering trail across a pebble, the sunlight reflecting in dewdrops like miniature stars. Each discovery fills them with awe, curiosity, and happiness. The parents sit nearby, drinking dew tea, watching the children, and feeling the same calm joy that saturates every corner of their home. Evening approaches again. Petals begin to fold slowly, wrapping the family in soft security. The pollen lantern glows warmly, casting gentle light across moss blankets and petal walls. The children curl together, their limbs relaxed, eyes slowly closing, drifting into dreams. The parents rest close by, serene and attentive, listening to the soft rhythms of breath and the quiet hum of the garden. In their dreams, the children imagine expansive playgrounds and sparkling rivers, sliding down stems that bend gracefully, swinging on leaves that sway with the faintest breeze, exploring lands full of light and color. Every imagined adventure ends safely, guided back to the comfort of the flower. Their joy is infinite in its simplicity, full of laughter, wonder, and calm. The parents dream too, quietly, thinking of dew tea, moss blankets, and the tiny routines of the day. A faint sense of the vast world beyond the flower stirs in their minds. Not threatening, not frightening, only present as a distant hum. They remain grounded in the safety and intimacy of their home, feeling complete, connected, and happy. Outside, the wider world moves silently. Winds ripple through fields unseen by the tiny family. Streams flow across valleys, yet all of it folds gently around their flower home, nourishing, supporting, and protecting. The vastness exists, yet it does not disturb the safety and calm of the family. Dear listener, imagine this life, a life free from worry, full of joy, laughter, calm, and warmth. A world where every day unfolds gently, every moment is safe, and every night ends in soft, serene sleep. The tiny family lives like this every day, unaware of the immensity surrounding them, yet perfectly content, perfectly safe, perfectly alive. Night deepens fully, petals fold completely. The pollen lantern dims to a quiet glow. The children sleep together beneath moss blankets, dreaming of rivers, slides, and endless fields of light. The parents sleep close by, serene and at peace. The flower holds them with gentle strength, a soft, protective home in the heart of a vast, unseen world. And outside, the garden and the wider world hum quietly, vast and infinite, yet the tiny family remains happy, content, and free from worry, living in perfect calm and harmony. As the nights and days continue in gentle rhythm, the tiny family lives entirely in the comfort of their flower home, free from any worries or fear. Every morning begins with soft light spilling through the petals, warming their little rooms and curling around the moss blankets. The children wake slowly, stretching tiny limbs, blinking sleep from their eyes, and greeting the familiar spaces around them. To them, this flower is the entire world, a place safe, beautiful, and full of possibility. They step onto the leaf bridge, laughing as they imagine crossing streams of sunlight, racing each other along soft stems, or balancing atop the curved edges of petals as if they were cliffs and mountains. Every swing on the blades of grass feels like a gentle flight, every slide along a bent stem like a playful dance through a world crafted just for them. Even simple tasks, gathering dewdrops, brushing pollen into jars, or arranging moss blankets, become moments of wonder, part of a daily rhythm that is both comforting and joyous. The parents move quietly around the flower, arranging, preparing, and tending. They share soft smiles, small gestures of care, and laughter that fills the petals with warmth. There is nothing urgent here. There is nothing to worry about. Every need is met, every problem non-existent, and the family moves through life slowly, intentionally, and with calm delight. Even in the afternoons, when the sun is high and shadows shorten, the children's play is gentle and happy. They climb on stems as if they are mountains, skip along dewladen leaf bridges, and peek into the tiny nooks of the flower to imagine hidden worlds inside. They notice a ladybug slowly moving across a petal, a snail leaving a shiny trail along a stone, or a cluster of pollen grains glowing faintly in the afternoon sun. Every observation is a discovery, every movement a quiet adventure, yet nothing threatens their peace. When the bees come visiting, the children wave and giggle as the gentle insects hum past. The parents smile quietly, knowing these friendly neighbors bring life to the garden while leaving the family's calm world intact. Every interaction is harmonious, every sound a melody in the background of their serene lives. The flower itself seems to hum softly in response, its petals curving just enough to shield and nurture its tiny inhabitants. Evening arrives without urgency. Petals slowly fold around the family, creating a soft, safe cocoon. The pollen lantern glows with a warm, amber light, filling the petal rooms with gentle illumination. The children curl together beneath moss blankets, yawning and stretching, their hearts full of happiness and their minds free of concern. The parents rest nearby, watching the gentle rhythm of their children's breathing, feeling the same steady calm that saturates the flower and the surrounding garden. In their dreams, the children imagine playful adventures across endless playgrounds of stems and leaves, sliding down sparkling rivers of light, swinging across invisible valleys, and climbing hills that rise higher than the tallest petals. Every dream carries them safely, always returning them to the comfort of home. The parents' dreams are quieter, filled with gentle moments of togetherness, caring, and observation of the small joys that fill each day. Outside, the larger world flows silently and gently. Winds ripple through unseen fields, streams glide across valleys far beyond the flower, and forests stretch beyond anything the tiny family can perceive. Even as this vast world pulses with life, it does not disturb the serenity of the family. Their safety, their happiness, and their comfort remain absolute. Dear listener, imagine this life alongside them. Imagine waking each day without worry, moving through gentle routines filled with curiosity, joy, and laughter, and falling asleep each night in a warm, secure place, your loved ones close by. This is the life of the tiny family, a life full of happiness, free from fear, complete in its simplicity, and untouched by the immensity of the world beyond their petals. Night settles fully over the flower. Petals fold completely, the pollen lantern dims to a soft, soothing glow, and the children sleep, dreaming of playful adventures, slides, swings, and rivers of light. The parents sleep nearby, serene and completely present. The flower holds them all tenderly, a gentle home within an enormous unseen world. Outside, the garden and the wider world pulse quietly, vast and infinite. Yet the tiny family remains perfectly happy, completely free from worry, living in calm, joyful harmony with one another and with the gentle rhythms of their world. The next morning, sunlight spills softly through the petals, painting the tiny family's home in warm shades of gold and pink. The children wake slowly, blinking sleep from their eyes, stretching tiny arms toward the soft curves of their petal rooms. Their laughter rises gently as they step onto the leaf bridge, pretending to cross rivers of light or leap from stem to stem. Even ordinary movements, shunning, hopping, or reaching for dew cups feel like small adventures filled with wonder. The parents move quietly, preparing dew tea and arranging the moss blankets. Their eyes meet in a gentle smile, a silent acknowledgement of the simple joy of living in harmony. There is no urgency in their world, no pressures from outside. Every day begins and ends with comfort, safety, and the soft, endless rhythm of the flower itself. The children's playground is alive with tiny wonders. One swings on a blade of grass, imagining it as a rope swing over a glowing river. Another climbs a bent stem, pretending it is a towering tree, feeling the thrill of adventure without fear. A third child crawls into a nook formed by overlapping petals, discovering secret caves and imagining treasure hidden inside. Every moment, every step, every tiny exploration is full of joy, imagination, and delight. The flower itself seems to anticipate their play. Petals curve gently, forming slides, tunnels, and protective nooks. The soft moss cushions every fall. The pollen lantern glows softly during darker hours, and the gentle sway of the stem keeps rhythm with their laughter. Even the gentle hum of visiting bees adds to the music of the day. Friendly neighbors weaving through the garden without disturbing the family's calm. Afternoon drifts slowly. Dew cups sparkle in the sunlight. Small pebbles glisten like stars, and the children pause to marvel at tiny wonders. A ladybug ambles across a leaf. A snail leaves a glimmering trail across a stone. and the sun's rays play across the petals in patterns that feel like secret messages. The children notice each small miracle with delight, giggling and whispering to each other about imagined adventures. The parents sit nearby, sipping dew tea, watching the children, and feeling their own hearts fill with quiet happiness. Their lives are simple, predictable, and safe, but rich in small joys. There are no fears here, no dangers, no uncertainty. Every need is met, every moment is full. The flower provides everything: shelter, warmth, play, and safety. Evening approaches. The petals fold gradually, wrapping the family in their soft embrace. The pollen lantern glows warmly, filling the rooms with amber light. The children curled together under moss blankets, tired from a day full of gentle adventures. Their breathing slows, their minds drift, and dreams carry them into imagined playgrounds beyond the petals, rivers of light, leaf swings, stem slides, and secret caves. Every dream ends safely, always returning them to the comfort of their home. The parents rest nearby, watching quietly, feeling their own hearts settle in rhythm with the flower. They know the happiness of this life, of living fully in each moment, free from worries, filled with love and calm. Outside, the wider world pulses with life. Winds whisper, streams flow, forests breathe, but it does not touch the serenity of the family. Their world is complete. Dear listener, picture this life. A life where every day is safe, every moment is full of wonder, every night ends in comfort and warmth. Imagine running freely across your own playground, exploring small wonders, laughing softly, and returning always to a place that holds you, a home full of love and protection. This is the life of the tiny family, a life full of happiness and free from all worries, nestled in a flower that shelters them while the vast world hums beyond. Night settles completely, petals fold fully around the family, the pollen lantern dims to a quiet glow, and the children sleep, dreaming of slides, swings, rivers, and secret caves. The parents sleep peacefully nearby, serene and content. The flower holds them all tenderly, a small, perfect world within a vast, unseen universe. Outside, the garden and the wider world pulse softly with life, vast and infinite, yet the tiny family remains perfectly safe, completely happy, and entirely free from worry, living in joy and calm, carried on the gentle rhythms of their home. As another morning begins, sunlight seeps gently through the petals, painting the tiny family's home in soft golds and pinks. The children stir, stretching small arms and yawning, their tiny hearts already full of curiosity and joy. To them, the flower is the whole universe, every curve, nook, and moss blanket, a place of adventure, play, and comfort. They step onto the leaf bridges, their laughter soft and musical, imagining rivers of sunlight, climbing mountains made of petals, and sliding down stems as if they were gentle hills. The parents move slowly round the flower, arranging moss blankets, brewing dew tea, and checking the pollen lantern. Their movements are calm, deliberate, and full of care. Their eyes meet in quiet smiles, the unspoken joy of a life lived without rush or worry. Here, there is no danger, no stress, no pressure, only the gentle rhythm of life, full and complete in its simplicity. The playground within the flower teems with imagination. One child swings lightly on a blade of grass, soaring over invisible rivers, while another climbs a twisted stem, pretending it is a tall tree reaching into the clouds. A third child crawls through overlapping petals, discovering secret tunnels and imagining treasure hidden inside. Every step, every leap, every whisper is part of a larger story. They invent together a story, curiosity, and endless possibilities. Even the flower seems to anticipate their adventures. Petals bend gently into slides and tunnels. Moss cushions every tiny fall. The pollen lantern glows warmly as shadows lengthen, and the soft sway of the stem moves in harmony with the children's laughter. Bees pass by quietly, friendly neighbors moving through the garden without disturbing the calm, their hums blending into the music of the day. Afternoon drifts slowly, stretching lazily across the garden. The children pause to notice small wonders, dewdrops sparkling like stars, a ladybug crawling across a leaf, the sunlight reflecting in intricate patterns on petals. Every detail is a marvel. Every moment is a chance for gentle discovery, shared delight, and soft laughter. The parents sit nearby, sipping dew tea, watching the children, feeling the happiness that fills every corner of their lives. There are no problems here, no worries, only calm, love, and presence. Evening approaches with its familiar serenity. Petals fold slowly around the family, a protective embrace. The pollen lantern glows softly, bathing the rooms in warm amber light. The children curl up beneath moss blankets, tired from gentle adventures. Their breathing slows, their minds drift, and dreams carry them further into imagined playgrounds beyond the petals. Leaf swings, swaying over rivers of light, stems curving into slides, secret caves sparkling with imagined treasures. Every dream leads safely back to the flower, to warmth and love. The parents watch quietly, feeling the gentle rhythm of life settle in their hearts. Their happiness is full, calm, and free from concern. They know the beauty of a life where every need is met, every day is safe, and every night ends in comfort. Beyond the flower, the world pulses with movement, winds brushing fields, streams flowing across distant valleys, forests stretching far beyond, but it does not disturb the serenity of the tiny family. Their life is complete, a perfect balance of exploration, care, and love. Dear listener, imagine this life alongside them. Picture waking each day in safety, moving through gentle adventures, discovering small wonders, and returning always to warmth and comfort. Imagine living fully in every moment, free from worry, surrounded by love, and carried by calm. This is the life of the tiny family, a life of joy, safety, and freedom, all held tenderly within the petals of a flower, while the vast world continues beyond, humming softly, unseen but never threatening. Night falls fully. The petals fold completely around the family. The pollen lantern dims to a soft, soothing glow, and the children sleep, dreaming of gentle slides, swings, rivers of light, and secret caves. The parents sleep nearby, calm and content. The flower holds them all tenderly, a small, perfect universe nestled inside a vast, living world. Outside, the garden and the wider world pulse softly, full of unseen life and infinite possibility. Yet the tiny family remains entirely safe, completely happy, and fully free from worry, living in harmony with the gentle rhythms of their home, carried through each day and night by love, calm, and quiet joy. As another morning drifts softly over the garden, light spills gently through the petals, filling the tiny family's home with warm, golden hues. The children stir, stretching tiny arms and yawning with contentment. To them, the flower is not just a home, it is everything. their universe, their playground, their world of wonder and safety. Every curve of a petal, every soft moss blanket, every nook and cranny feels alive, familiar, and full of possibility. The children step onto the leaf bridges that wind delicately between petals, imagining rivers of sunlight flowing below. They run lightly along stems that bend just enough to form gentle slides. They climb twisted vines, pretending they are scaling mountains. They crawl through petals, overlapping like secret tunnels, discovering imagined treasure and hidden wonders. Each movement is gentle, full of joy and curiosity, and always safe. Their laughter rises softly, blending with the hum of the garden, like a lullaby played on the wind. The parents move quietly through their flower home, arranging moss blankets, brewing dew tea, and adjusting the pollen lantern so that its soft amber glow fills every petal room. They watch their children with serene delight, smiling at the ease and freedom of their small lives. There is no fear here, no rush, no pressure, only calm, joy, and the gentle rhythm of days flowing perfectly into nights. The flower itself seems alive with their happiness. Petals shift subtly to form smooth slides and gentle tunnels. Moss cushions every landing. The soft sway of the stem carries the rhythm of laughter. Even the bees, friendly neighbors, pass through gently, their hums merging with the family's calm world. Each visit is harmonious, every movement and sound adding to the quiet music of life. Afternoon stretches lazily, full of gentle discoveries. The children pause to marvel at dewdrops, sparkling like tiny stars. A ladybug crawling slowly across a leaf, sunlight reflecting on petals in intricate patterns. Every detail feels magical, every moment a chance for quiet adventure. The parents sip dew tea nearby, their hearts full, watching the children move through the world with curiosity, joy, and peace. Life flows here without worry, without haste, without concern. Evening arrives like a soft sigh. Petals fold gradually, creating a protective cocoon around the tiny family. The pollen lantern glows warmly, bathing every petal in soothing amber light. The children curl together beneath the moss blankets, their breaths slowing, their thoughts drifting, and their dreams carrying them into playful adventures beyond the petals, swinging on leaves over rivers of light, sliding along stems that curve like gentle hills, discovering secret caves sparkling with imagined treasures. Every adventure in dreams ends safely, always returning them to warmth, love, and home. The parents rest nearby, feeling their hearts settle into the rhythm of the flower. Their happiness is complete, calm, and effortless. Beyond the petals, the larger world pulses quietly, with life winds brushing through fields, streams flowing across valleys, forests stretching far beyond, but it does not touch the serenity of the tiny family. Their life is rich, safe, and full, every day and night perfectly balanced in harmony. Dear listener, imagine this life for yourself. Picture waking in a place that feels entirely safe, moving through your own gentle adventures, discovering small wonders, and always returning to warmth and love. Imagine being entirely free from worry, completely content, fully immersed in calm and joy. This is the life of the tiny family, a life entirely within a flower, untouched by fear, filled with wonder, and surrounded by love, while the vast unseen world hums softly beyond. Night deepens fully. Petals fold completely around the family. The pollen lantern dims to a soft, gentle glow, and the children sleep, dreaming of swings, slides, rivers, and secret tunnels. The parents sleep peacefully nearby, calm and content. The flower holds them all tenderly, a perfect small universe within an endless, living world. Outside, the garden and the wider world pulse softly with life, vast and infinite. Yet the tiny family remains completely safe, entirely happy, and perfectly free from worry, living each day and night in gentle joy, calm, and love. The next morning dawns softly over the flower, sunlight spilling through petals in gentle streams of gold and pink. The tiny family stirs, stretching their limbs and blinking away the remnants of sleep. To them, the flower is the entirety of existence, a universe that is safe, alive, and endlessly fascinating. Each petal feels like a wall of comfort, each moss blanket a cloud, every nook a place for tiny adventures. The children step onto their familiar leaf bridges, laughter bubbling softly as they imagine rivers of light flowing beneath them. They climb stems that curve like slides, tumble gently onto moss beds, and crawl through overlapping petals as though exploring secret tunnels. Each movement carries joy, curiosity, and a sense of gentle freedom. No danger exists here, only exploration, play, and the quiet magic of life inside the flower. The parents move through the flower with deliberate care, arranging blankets, checking the pollen lantern, and brewing dew tea. Their eyes meet in small, quiet smiles, sharing a deep satisfaction in the rhythm of life that surrounds them. Days unfold without rush or worry, each one filled with calm, warmth, and love. Life is simple, predictable, and full, a perfect harmony that carries them through each hour. The flower itself responds to the tiny family's presence. Petals bend into slides and tunnels. Moss cushions every fall. The stem sways gently in tune with laughter and movement. Even the friendly bees that hum past are careful not to disturb the calm. Every sound, every shift, every little movement contributes to a delicate balance where joy and peace live together effortlessly. Afternoon passes like a soft melody. Dewdrops sparkle like scattered stars. Ladybugs crawl across leaves. Sunlight filters through petals in intricate, dancing patterns. The children marvel at these small wonders, their curiosity and delight evident in every glance, every gesture, every whisper shared among them. The parents watch quietly, sipping dew tea, feeling full of calm and happiness. There is nothing missing, nothing needed. Every need, every wish, every desire is met simply by the life they share. As evening approaches, petals fold slowly around the flower, embracing the family in a soft, protective hug. The pollen lantern glows with warm amber light, filling every corner with quiet reassurance. The children curl beneath moss blankets, tired from gentle play. Their breaths slow, thoughts drift, and dreams carry them further into imaginative adventures, swinging on blades of grass over rivers of light, sliding along curving stems, exploring sparkling secret caves. Each dream carries them safely back to warmth and comfort. The parents rest nearby, quietly observing, their hearts settled into the calm rhythm of the flower. Beyond the petals, the larger world pulses with quiet life winds ripple through distant fields. Streams flow across hidden valleys. Forests stretch far and wide, but the vastness beyond never touches the serenity of the tiny family. Their life is full, safe, and untroubled, a perfect dance of joy, presence, and care. Dear listener, Picture this calm for yourself. Imagine waking each day in a safe, beautiful world. Imagine gentle adventures filled with discovery, laughter, and wonder, always returning to warmth, love, and comfort. Imagine living entirely free from worry, fully immersed in gentle joy and quiet peace. This is the life of the tiny family, a life safe, happy, and full of love, held within the petals of a flower, while the vast world hums softly beyond. Night settles completely. Petals fold fully around the family. The pollen lantern dims to a gentle glow, and the children sleep, dreaming of rivers, slides, swings, and secret tunnels. The parents sleep peacefully, calm and content. The flower holds them tenderly, a small universe filled with joy, love, and serenity within the endless, unseen world outside.